Hello everyone. Sorry if my allergies are bad today. It's Nick Peters, a gaming theologian, and I affirm a virgin birth. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe on this. And let's get back to Final Fantasy IV. When we last left, we were outside the city of Mist, where we've been ordered to take what's called the Bomb Ring, which on its own. Now, there's a lot of people you see online play this game and think, geez, they were delivering something called a bomb ring, or something similar. What did they think was going to happen? In all fairness, in the original Final Fantasy IV, it was just called package. Nothing else. But they've destroyed the village, and here you hear someone calling for their mommy. And a little girl who says her mom's dragon died, and because of that, her mom died too. And this is where we introduce the concept of summoners, people who can call monsters. To which Cesar sticks his foot in his mouth big time, saying that they killed her mother by killing the dragon. Way to go, Cesar. Way to go. So here we have a dispute between Cesar and Cain. Cain says they have to get rid of all summoners, which would include the girl. And Cesar will have none of it. Well, Cain's changed his mind, apparently. And they decide they're going to take the girl with him. Strange thing, she doesn't want to go. And yeah, you can actually fight her, don't worry, you can't do anything lethal to her. This whole thing is faked, in a sense. Yeah, this little girl comes loaded for bear. And the earthquake caused by Titan does that. So now there's no going back. And Cecil wakes up, and it's just him and the girl alone. No idea where Cain is. And Cesar says he has to get her to a place to rest. Which, if you're in a game and they let you stay at the end for free, something's going to happen that's integral to a plot. And Cesar asks her what her name is, and she won't say anything. And he says he's sorry about her mother, and understands if she can't forgive him. But he wants to at least protect her. Anyway, this is something I'd wanted to talk about here. Men protecting women. Because during the night, yep, soldiers from Baron come. And Cecil refuses to hand over the girl. Now, there's an interesting little thing you can do here. The general himself never directly attacks you. He always does it through his soldiers. So let's watch and see what happens if we take out the general before we take out the last soldier. You're here a lot today about what's known as toxic masculinity. But the thing is, oh, that was a critical hit. You can tell by the flash. The thing is that men have it in them naturally to protect women. Yeah, if they don't have a general, they attack themselves. And besides, you get a lot more experience points when you defeat the general. Now she asks him if he's okay. And he says he won't let anyone hurt her. Promise? I promise. And she says she's Lydia. And yep, she joins the party at that point. In her book, The Toxic War on Masculinity, Nancy Pearcey writes about a shooting that takes place somewhere. I think like a club, a bar, or someplace like that. And what do the men do there? They go and act as human shields for the women, putting them under tables and anything else, so they can take the bullets that come in. This is a very man thing to do, because men naturally see it as their duty to protect the women in their lives. Yeah, I think Lydia already has those equipped. Let me look and see. Oh yeah, she does. And this is something that often gets overlooked in these kinds of things. See, I don't really buy the whole concept of toxic masculinity. Our society is way too hard on men, and a lot of women treat men as if they're disposable. You know, she says a girl from Barron was found unconscious outside the house. She has desert fever and kept muttering the name Cecil over and over. And you're told to cure it, you need a sand ruby, which is only found in a cave where the antlion dwells. And also here we've heard of, there's talking to him about a sage named Telda, whose daughter ran off with a bard, and he's not too happy about it. But before I go into a cave, what I always do is get Lydia up to at least 100 maximum hit points. If you don't know, you can use a rod as an item here, and it's much more powerful than a regular attack and much more dependable. And she levels up awfully quickly. Now this is also something you see in scripture as well. The idea of audio's a bit glitchy. Okay, I'm not sure what's glitchy about it exactly. If you can expand on that a little bit, we'll see. But I consider the big sin of Adam, for instance, was he didn't step up to the plate when someone was coming after Eve. And the text seems to indicate that he was right there. So, why he didn't do anything, I don't know. Now, in the end, I happen to think that the reason Adam partook of the fruit, whatever it was that Eve already had, and he knew she'd be banished from the garden, probably. And he said, okay, I'm going with her. Okay, you can tell my voice is pretty loud, so. Okay, I've turned my volume down some. Let me know if this sounds better. Oh, yeah, also, I meant to use Goblin, so now Lydia has learned Goblin. Which, Goblins are the only enemies that Goblin is very effective on, and even their mix. We're just going to do auto battle on this one because Goblins are very easy. Oh, it kept that up again, okay. And when we get to David's great failure of his daughter was he failed to protect her, failed to uphold her honor when she was raped by her half-brother. Yeah, David had a very messed up family. The text says David was furious when he heard about it. And that's what Ashton says about it. At least from David's perspective. It's Tamara's brother Absalom who ends up killing the brother Ammon who raped her, and then later tries to take the throne from David. So, yeah. But men are supposed to look after women and to protect them. Unfortunately, too many women look at this and say, are you saying that I'm weak, that I'm helpless? Well, the thing is, technically, on average, men are stronger than women. So yes, we do protect them. Now, you can say, well, I know some women that are stronger than some men. Well, yeah, you do. So do I. But we're talking about averages here, not definitives. And when that is the case, men are called to be protectors. When we look at Ephesians 5, for instance, a lot of women get really upset when they read the text, because they see things like, oh, how a wife must submit to her husband. Oh, how awful, how terrible. Look at the patriarchy here at work. Ignoring the things that a husband is supposed to do for his wife. A husband is supposed to love, cherish, and be willing to lay down his life for his wife. He is supposed to present her faultless, without blemish, before the throne of God. The man has the bigger responsibility that he's going to be called on in a Christian marriage. And when when you see men out there protecting their wives and the other women in their life, like Cecil's protecting Lydia, they are playing one of their proper roles in society. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bug. It's a feature. Looking at the scene Nancy Pearcey talks about, for instance, the men just naturally somehow know that, yes, we are supposed to protect the women. In this case, it would often be just couples who are dating one another. Doesn't matter. Men protect women. Back when I was married, when my ex-wife and I would walk down the street together, and we were on the sidewalk, I always made sure that I was on the side of a road that was closest to oncoming traffic. After all, if something happens, the car's going to go for me first to get to her. That was my priority. Now, some women will also think that if you treat men as the ones with power, they can get abusive towards women. To which I say, yes, they can. But as Pearcey shows in her book, that when men become Christians, though, that is something that is far less likely to happen. If even they want to honor their wives more, they want to please their wives. There is never any justification for abuse, and that goes both ways. There is no justification for a man abusing a woman, and there isn't one for a woman abusing a man. I do always tell you that if you are in an abusive relationship and you're in danger, get out. Even if not by divorce, at least separate temporarily and make sure the abusive partner gets the help that they need. Right now in Final Fantasy IV, all Cecil knows is Lydia's a little girl, and though yes, she has the power to summon a Titan, she still needs to be protected. And that's what he's going to do, even being willing to go to death against former comrades just to protect someone. Ladies, if a man wants to protect you, don't complain about it. Enjoy it. And as a man trying to honor you, trying to fulfill his God-given responsibility, which is also why talk against the patriarchy is really nonsense. Because if men do lead, and they lead honorably, they will seek the best for the women in their lives. If they fail to lead honorably, it's not because they're men, it's because they're sinners. If we make society Christian and have Christian men leading, women will be far better off. Compare this to someone like, say, Islam, for instance. I really struggle when I see a woman in public wearing a hijab, especially if it's very warm weather, as it can often be in New Orleans. I'm thinking she must be roasting over it, but she has to cover herself so strongly because the men just struggle so much. And Muhammad really did not have too high of a view of women. You look at how Monsieur says that, you can beat your wives, Quran, which someone said, well, that just means you can lightly tap. Yeah, try lightly tapping women in your lives, Miguel Pan. And in Islam, you can have up to 4 wives if you're a man. And in the case of rape, it's my understanding that if rape is alleged, 4 men have to see the point of penetration in order for it to be taken seriously. Good luck having that happen. Women were often treated as spoils in battle that men could carry back to him. And yes, you can see this sometimes in the Old Testament, but that's usually pagan kings, such as Cicero in Judges 5 with his mother looking out the window in a poem and being sung by Deborah and Barak, and how they say, oh, there divine was spoils, a girl here, a girl there, and things of that sort. Okay, so someone might think, yeah, but if I go to Numbers 31, don't I see that the girls are to be kept alive? And the text says you can keep them for yourselves. It's really interesting when people raise this objection because they say, well, the text says you can keep them for yourselves. Surely there's only one reason you keep women for yourselves. Because yes, obviously, there's only one thing women are good for, right? But no. What's happened in this text is that some women came from far away in an area that Israel would not have been passing through and seduced them to break their favor with God so that they would no longer be a threat to them, which Israel wasn't going to be a threat to them anyway. So God tells them to get justice on them. Now, the water bug here, you need to hit with lightning on its own, or else it will recover everything. And it's an endless cycle. It was a whole lot different than the original. I've played via Pixar's remaster before, but it has been a bit since I did. I don't remember everything about it. So when it comes time for justice to be meted out on them, they are told to spare the virgin girls. Why? Because they're innocent. They had no part to play in what happened. Now you'll meet some funny atheists who say, and how did they know which ones were virgins, huh? Did they have to do a very interesting examination of them? No. Virgins were known by the clothing that they wore. There was were dresses that were worn just by virgin girls, so they'd be known in society, especially for people wanting to marry. And here we meet the sage Terra, who says his daughter was deceived by a wicked bard. And that there's and that this bard took his daughter to Damacian, where Cecil and Riddy are going to. And Terra also says there's a monster in the cave that his magic is just weak. It's not strong enough to overcome. Now, Terra's an old man who knows white and black magic. But the thing is, he's forgotten a lot of it. There is an interesting feature in this game that wasn't in the other one. It's called Recall, where he can sometimes, by chance, recall a spell he had forgotten. He'll still use all the magic points to cast it, but sometimes nothing will happen, so it's luck of a draw. Fortunately, one spell he has is one that allows him to drain magic points from the enemy. And I don't think it costs anything in this game to cast it. So in essence, he can keep refilling his magic. Oh yeah, that's something interesting that these guys do. They turn your character into a toad. Fortunately, they sometimes drop maiden's kisses, which is what cures that condition. So getting back to numbers 31, that meant that these women who had nothing whatsoever to do with the attack on Israel were spared. And we say, well, what were they spared for? Well, considering they were young, most likely they were adopted by Israelite families who had lost children or some number of population in the event that is being avenged there. Could they have eventually been married into the culture? Yeah. But keep in mind, the men who went to battle were supposed to be kept outside the camp after a battle to purify themselves, which meant they weren't going to be getting their game on with any women anyway. A lot of you might not know about this secret place, but it's here. Now, some people might also look at, say, Numbers 5. And in this case, if a woman is suspected of adultery, she's supposed to go to the priest and take something, a medicine, with an oath. And if she has been unfaithful, it will cause her body to swell, and she'll be unable to bear children. Now, something interesting about zombie enemies is that Cecil's sword is pretty much useless against them. The only things that really work at this point besides regular weapons is cure magic and fire. Everyone else's regular attacks will also work, but Cecil's dark sword is practically useless. It only does 1 damage. Now that could be enough to finish a zombie off, but that's just by chance. Now, some people look at this text and think it's meant to bring about an abortion. Which, first off, no, it isn't. But second, even if it was, that isn't justification for abortion on our part. Because what happens in the text is a punishment. And if a life gets ended by God, where God has that prerogative to do that, God can take life if he wants to, because he owes no one life. The real purpose of this text was most any other society, if a husband was jailless, that was the only grounds needed. He can do whatever he wants at that point. The test was set up to protect women, especially. Another interesting place to go to in the Bible to see about how women are to be honored is the book of Judges. At the start of the book, let me see, did I get the ice? No. At the start of the book, when Israel has some enemies, Caleb says, I will offer my daughter as a wife to anyone who goes and defeats our enemies. And Othniel says, hey, I'll do that then. And he becomes the first judge, to which women never lose sight, as I've said before, of your ability to empower a man to do great things. Now, some women may say, well, that man should be self-motivated. Yeah, you could have a point there. But the thing is, a little bit of extra motivation along these ways never hurts either. And a woman is a great motivation for a man. A woman just makes a man want to do things better than he would before. This is why men will do some of the dumbest things they will ever do if they think there's a chance they could impress a woman. Now, this is where we learn about save spots in the game. That monsters are repaired, and you can use something like a tent or a cottage to rest and heal. And this is where we see the story here. We learn that Terah's daughter is named Anna. She eloped with a bard to Damascus because Terah didn't consent to their union. To which, well, you think that Terah's trying to protect his daughter. You might think he's being controlling or something like that, and maybe you're even right. But he is trying to protect his daughter, which is what an honorable father will do. But what I said about Judges, now when you get to the end of the book, what's happened? Where the constant theme is, in those days Israel had no king, and everyone does what's right in their own eyes. And Israel, the nation, for the larger part, actually goes to war against themselves, against the Benjaminites, because of something scandalous that happened in one of our cities, which corresponds greatly to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And in the end, Benjamin's tribe could die out. Okay, a critical hit can actually do damage on them, just so you know, but you can't control those. The tribe of Benjamin could die out, and Israel doesn't want this. So what do? They tell some of the Benjamites who are left that there's one time I didn't go to war, and they go off and they kill people that town so Benjamites can have wives. And when that's not enough, they say, well, look, there's a festival going out, and women will come out and start dancing. When you see one you want, just go out and capture them, and we'll protect you if their families complain. And that's what happens. When the society goes down here, women start getting treated worse. In this case, before, a man went out to war to fight for a woman. This time, a man just goes out and captures a woman that he wants, and that's it. That is how far society has gone down here in the story. Now, the point of all this is just to say, when men protect women, it's a good thing. It's something we should celebrate. And it is a responsibility that men have by virtue of being men. In case you haven't noticed, the ice rod, when used as an item, cast blizzard. So, it doesn't cost anything for Lydia to do that. And it's very helpful on reptiles and amphibians who are weak to cold. Also, if you cast Toad on a character that's already a Toad, they get turned back to normal. Now, in the original Final Fantasy 4, you didn't always see where the secret paths were in the dungeons. That was often trial and error. They changed things a little bit for here. Women, if your man wants to protect you, accept it, welcome it, and be appreciative. If there's one complaint a lot of men have, it's that women in their lives just don't seem to know how much they do for them and appreciate it. I took on a whole lot of responsibility with my ex-wife. Like, she had a lot of medications. I had to memorize all of them. I had to fill her medicine thing every day, every week, because she was often suicidal at one point, and I couldn't just leave her medicine out there for her. Went to a doctor's office. I'm the one who had to say everything about, yeah, here's the medicine she's taking, here's how much of it she's taking. Had to do all of it. And if she needed to go to a hospital, I was the one who'd often have to take, like, I took her one night when she thought something was dreadfully wrong in the middle of the night, and I even had the flu at the time. And to be fair, I was trying to get over it, but I had it. But someone had to do the part there. So yeah, when we got, I think that's the time also that when we got out, and it was around 4:30 in the morning, and she wanted to go get something to eat, and there's not a lot of options at 4:30 in the morning, but we found a Waffle House nearby, and they're open 24/7, and so that's what we did. And I actually used my phone there and synced it up with the jukebox I was in there. There's an app for that, and played romantic songs to serenade her. Because ladies, men love to spoil you. Don't take advantage of it, but we love to spoil you. We love to treasure you just because you're you. It's one reason I would love to get remarried again myself, because I would be thrilled to have a woman to have that honor of getting to treasure again. There's nothing like it for a man. If you have a good man, treasure him, because divorce is far too easy today, and I can easily speak on that from experience as one who is divorced. And it devastates a man to go through divorce. It is kind of the ultimate in rejection. Your man doesn't really deserve that. If he's a good man, work on your marriage. Now, I'm not saying this if he's, say, an abusive man. I mean really an abusive man. Yes, protect yourself, but when you made a promise to your man, honor it. Because your man wants to honor you. And again, I'm speaking in generalities here, because I realize there are wicked men out there just as much. And here we get our first new weapon for Cesar, the Shadow Blade. 10 more points to his experience for that one. Divorce, it's the ultimate rejection, and it would be the worst pain you can put your man through. And yes, again, I say that as one who's gone through it. Men love to treasure their wives, but they love it especially when they know that that's a two-way street, that their wives are thankful for them as well. And please, don't go on social media making little videos or posts complaining about your husband. Yeah, husbands shouldn't do that with wives as well. Too many couples are taking private little squabbles that could be justified arguments and making them public on social media. Okay, going to save here just to be safe. But we're also going to go and defeat this boss here. You don't get any choice about where you're going to go. We're going to defeat the boss and exit the cave and save again, and that'll be it for the night. Now you want to be careful with tiny mages, because if you don't deal sufficient damage to eliminate them, then they'll cast a spell to paralyze one of your characters, and it's extremely annoying. Like, this is also one of the benefits we get by leveling Lydia up, is that she can take a lot more of these attacks than she would before. If we hadn't done that, we would be healing and possibly reviving her many, many times. So that's why I say, get her to 100 hit points max first. Now what I'm going to do is just have my other characters defend, and let Cesar do the work here. Yep, protecting Rydia. And I suppose you could say protecting the elderly too. And more new equipment for Cesar. It's got the name of Hades because Final Fantasy does draw off of a lot of mythology in their game production. Alligators, I went for a long talk about alligators, can attack twice, but they are, as reptiles, extremely susceptible to cold. So, Rydia's ice weapon does a whole lot more damage than it normally would. No new shield here, I thought there might be, but there isn't. So let's go and fight the monster. Where first we gotta fight these things. These are also enemies that, because of their substance, Cesar's sword is pretty much useless against them, but then so is any weapon attack. You have to find their magical weakness. And with these guys, it's fire. So now, let's fight the Octo Mammoth. I'm going to have Rydia use her most powerful summon for now, the Chocobo. Unfortunately, you can't get Chocobos out in the wild to kick like that. Sure would be nice if you could. I was hoping Tella knew slow, but I guess not. We're just going to set this on auto unless things change, because really this is not, for the most part, a difficult boss fight. All he has are regular attacks. nice recall there, too. Very nice recall. Recall a basic spell that it's pretty much absolutely useless here. Where's that bio when we need it? Well, that was a good spell, but unfortunately, it's one that an enemy has to be the second part to it, and Octomath just isn't. And there you go. Now the next boss we encounter will not work the same way. And Damascene is just beyond this waterfall. And there it is. And there are the red wings of Boron. So what happens now? We will find out next time. Please, people, like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, let your friends know about this. If you have any games you'd like to see me go through sometime, drop some suggestions. I'm open to it. Let me know if there's any topics you'd like to see me discuss sometime. And please become a member of my Patreon, because everything you do to help me out here makes it easier for me to keep providing these videos for you. Well, now I'm Nick Peters, the Gaming Theologian,